Well, here is another one of those swirl gone wrong stories where it involves a man out of Michigan by the name of Brandon Scott Miro, who ran over his girlfriend, as you can see in this picture. I'm trying to see if I can find her name. I don't know why it keeps giving her last name, which is Kemp. Oh, okay, I found it. Taisha Kemp, where it was reported that on June 2nd, he ran her over with his car and tried to cover it up. Let me go ahead and read this story. It says, Brandon Scott Miro was arrested on first-degree murder charges last week after Davidson Township Police found his girlfriend Taisha Kemp lying unconscious in the road. Emergency responders said the 26-year-old didn't have a pulse and wasn't breathing. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Police determined Kemp had been struck by a car and quickly zeroed in on Miro as a suspect in her death. She flipped up in the air, hit the windshield, rolled around, and then hit the back window, breaking that before she went to the ground. There's a lot of physical evidence of her contacting his car right where there's damage to his car, and on the areas when there's damage, we found her clothes, bits of her hair, and she had a bad shoulder laceration that matches up directly with a piece of the car. Miro was arraigned on Tuesday, June 5th on charges of premeditated murder, witness intimidation, failure to stop at the scene of an accident, and tampering with evidence. The murder charge alone could place Miro behind bars for life without parole, while other charges carry a 10 to 15 year sentence. After his crime, Leighton and said Miro returned to the scene with Kemp's mother later that morning in an effort to cover his tracks. In action, the prosecutor said usually happens in cases of arson. The victim's family said they're still struggling to make sense of it all. This is, we are trying to be strong for each other, get her laid to rest, and then deal with our emotions. Erica Bunn, Kemp's adopted sister, told WNEM. She told me that I'm okay and that I can get through this. She was so loving and caring, Bunn recalled of her sister, who was also the mother of a 2-year-old boy. She always wanted to make sure everyone was okay. We were never prepared for this, so for something like this to happen to her is such a shock. Miro's next court date is scheduled for June 14th, which was yesterday. So I don't know what happened of the case. Like I said, this story came out a week ago, but it's amazing. They did their best to bury this particular story. Why? Because swirling seems to be in and they don't want to ruin that Prince Charming fantasy. And 2, this was a black woman that he killed. Now, had it been a white woman he had did this to, he would have been all over the news. Now, notice nowhere in the article, and not just in this one, but probably plenty of others, we're not going to find why he did what he did to this woman. They just said he hit her with a car and she flipped over it and then she was dead. They don't say why he did it. They don't, what the motive could have been. I always like to hear a motive when it comes to cases like these. But like I did with the previous story, I can't really find myself to feel really bad about the situation. And like I also said with that story, we'll see how far he goes as far as a punishment goes. Let's see if he gets hit with that life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. I won't hold my breath. But stranger things have happened. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments about this story. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.